Welcome back to Al Chapo Sports, everyone's least favorite sports show where we do the thinking so you don't have to. We've got week 5 NFL top 10 teams. Let's just get right on into it. I don't have enough creativity right now to make a cool intro. So on we go to number 10. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars got a win in a big way, beating the Buffalo Bills, who are a very good team, if not inconsistent. But Jacksonville, yeah, congrats. This was a great win. You did it in England, which I can't imagine is easy to play in, with all the travel and things considered. And if I'm not mistaken, this is 2 in a row for Jacksonville. But I can't speak apparently today, guys. It's 2 in a row for Jacksonville to win in England. So kudos to you guys. Strong team. They have some hit and miss moments, but this win definitely puts them back in the conversation. So moving on to number 9, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers were on a bye week, so there's not much to really talk about here. If you watched last week's video, all the same things apply. They've only had one loss in the season. They're leading their division. They're looking pretty decent. Baker Mayfield's having a comeback story that will warm anyone's heart. So congrats, Tampa Bay. You hold your position on a bye. I think I might have moved you down one spot since last week just because other teams had some very impressive wins that just unfortunately had to bump you down. But I didn't take you out of the top 10 just for being on a bye week. So moving on, number 9, the Ravens. I don't know what happened here, guys. The Ravens, last week I had ranked, I think, in the top 5. And they just got trounced by Pittsburgh. A Pittsburgh team that's not very good and doesn't have the best offense. So the Ravens are definitely the best, most inconsistent team in the AFC right now, if not the entire NFL. When they're great, they're fantastic. When they're not, the inconsistencies just make them feel really bad. I feel like this is a team that could win or lose to any team in the NFL. And that is a cause for concern if you're a Baltimore fan. But moving on to number 6, we have the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle was also on a bye, so similarly to the Bucs, nothing to talk about, but they are looking good. Not as good as someone else in their division, but certainly good enough to make it into the playoffs, in my opinion, on a wild card. But yeah, these Seahawks are playing good, except for this week because they didn't play at all. So moving on to number 5, we've got, or 5, 6, I lose count so quickly. I think this is 6 actually. The Buffalo Bills. The Bills lost to Jacksonville as previously described. Now I know what you're thinking. Why are they ranked so much higher than Jacksonville if they just got beat by them? Because Buffalo is inconsistent. If the Buffalo that played Miami played the Jaguars, no question, the Bills would have won. I still think Buffalo is a better team. I think they have better potential in the rest of this season, and I think if they played Jacksonville 10 times, 9 times out of 10, Buffalo would win. They're just a better football team. But Jacksonville was the one this time. Not much to say here. Josh Allen was Josh Allen. Flashes of brilliance until he gets an interception. But such is the Buffalo Bills. That is who they are. Moving on to number 5. We've got the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins got a win against the New York Giants. New York Giants are one of the worst teams in the entire NFL right now. So it's not a very impressive win, but it is a win nonetheless. They've only got one loss into the season against the Bills. So, go ahead and make sense of how I put them against Buffalo. I think when it comes to Buffalo and the Dolphins right now, I think they're both high caliber And if each of them plays the best version of the other, I think the Dolphins narrowly win it. But yes, moving on to number 4, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs got another win against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are not a good team this year by any stretch of the imagination, which is the only reason they're not ranked any higher, is because they just don't have a win against one of those teams yet. One of those top tier teams where I'm like, wow, that was an impressive win. So Kansas City, they've only got one loss in the season, and that loss is to our number 3 team, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions beat the Panthers this week, I believe. Yes. Now, the Panthers are, no exaggeration, the worst team in the NFL, and it's not even close. The gap between the number 32 team and the number 31 team is wide. But the reason I ranked the Lions here is because they have a win over Kansas City, and their only loss on the season, at this point, only 2 teams are undefeated. And of the teams that have a single defeat, I think the Detroit Lions are the best. Moving on to number 2, we've got one of our 2 undefeated teams, the Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Rams, who are a solid team, not particularly good at anything, not particularly bad at anything. The reason the Eagles are here is because they are undefeated. Point blank. There are weaknesses that can be exploited on the Eagles, but no one has been able to exploit them to the degree to get a win yet. But Philly, you're sitting pretty at 5-0. I have a hard time seeing you not getting into the playoffs at this point. But number 1, the gap between number 2 and number 1 is also just so vast. Of course, we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. Undefeated. They destroyed the Dallas Cowboys this week. I mean, it was ugly. They sent Dallas all the way to the B League, where they belong, honestly, because Dak Prescott. Anyway, the Niners are a juggernaut. They are not going down anytime soon. They will lose eventually this season. But I see absolutely no scenario where they are not in the playoffs. I see no scenario where we're not in the NFC Championship. And honestly, it's going to be a hard sell at this point in the season with how they've been playing to see them not being in the Super Bowl. But football is a cruel sport. It's a cruel, unforgiving sport. One injury can derail your entire team, your entire season. But right now, the Niners are looking perfect. And Brock Purdy, we have to put some respect on his name. We all kind of been thinking, is he good? Is he not good? We've been giving him the Joe Flacco treatment. But rest assured, he is good. His dominance speaks for itself. So, that is my top 10 list. Comment down below, tell me who your top 10 teams in the NFL are. Disagree with me, agree with me, let me know why I'm wrong, let me know why I don't know anything I'm talking about. Like the video, subscribe for more content, and I will see you guys